And I'm here with current Oakland University men's basketball player Jalen Moore. Jalen, great to have you on the show today, my friend. How's it going?
Everything's going good. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, my friend. Glad you could take a couple minutes, answer a few questions. Really want to dive in your career, but before I do that, I want to kind of start with the here and now and ask how's the first few weeks of practice been, and how was just the summer getting ready for the season been overall for yourself and then also your team?
Everything's been going good. Practice been going really well. Everybody's been buying in. Giving it their all every day. I think guys are starting to figure out their roles, and roles are being defined, and our teammates are taking on those roles and just playing the best of their ability to those roles. Everybody's sticking together, and I think this year would be a very special year for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a great year ahead of you guys because, well, for one thing, you don't really have to deal with the COVID pandemic as much, I should say. How was it last year going through that and kind of not just dealing with the regulations and the protocols, but just that overall uncertainty of what was going to happen and whether or not you were going to be playing games? I mean, what kind of toll did that take on yourself and your team?
It was kind of tough. I feel like we didn't really have any motivation because we didn't know if we was actually going to be able to play or not. We was going there every day. Every day we was waiting on some news. If we was going to play or if something's going to be canceled. If guys going to come up with COVID. What was going to happen. So that was all out of our reach. But that was in the back of our heads. Like you never know what's going to happen. But with this year, knowing that we are going to have a season, everything's going to go as planned, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have fans and stuff. So there's a lot more motivation than there was last year.
Yeah, I think that whole aspect of the motivation, like you mentioned, is probably was a big part of it last year, having to get yourself ready to go. And you never knew if you were going to be able to even practice, let alone have a game or travel or whatever it might have been. But I want to get into your career a little bit. And you've got a fascinating journey to how you got to where you are today. You started out at Olney Central. And I'm curious, what initially kind of drew you to Olney Central?
Coach Burris, he was the head coach there. He's now with UND. He came and watched me play at Cloverdale probably 80% of my games. He was making the drive there, and he just really wanted me to know that he wanted me part of the program. He wanted me to be the point guard. He was telling me he was going to let me play my game, just like my high school coach let me play my game. He was going to let me play free. Um, Basically, that's just what caught my attention. Him showing up to basically almost all of my high school games. A lot of coaches, they were texting me and this and that, and but he was actually putting his text into action, coming to my games, and that meant a lot to me. And I know his words were true based off his actions. So he gave me the opportunity, and I went there, and I just took full advantage of it.
I think that's a very important thing for that player kind of coach relationship. And as you mentioned, that really kind of, I think, swings players into going to certain programs over others because of that relationship. And I'm curious to hear from you at what point during your time at Olney Central did you really start to see your game kind of expand and you really started to kind of separate yourself from the other competition?
Um, I would say when practice started, I just felt really comfortable out there. I just felt like, all my hard work was coming to light and everybody on my team was seeing it too. The coaches were seeing it. I would say in games too, I just felt really comfortable. I just know I belong there. I knew that I belonged at the next level as well. So, I took my hard work from my workouts and I just put it into my game, and it all eventually paid off.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you've turned it into an incredible career for certain. I'm curious to ask you, with it being a JUCO school and you coming from a JUCO program, is that something that you would suggest for other players to also kind of maybe follow? Is that something that you would kind of advise if players are up in the air on where they want to go, if they want to get an extra year? I mean, is that something that you would advise people to do?
I would most definitely advise a lot of people to go JUCO. A lot of people don't think it's a good route, or they hear JUCO and then they're like, no, there's no competition. But JUCO is a lot of Division One players who didn't get the opportunity or who just didn't have the grades. So I advise a lot of people to go JUCO if the coaches are recruiting you are saying you're going to be playing behind this guy, and probably not much playing time, but the next year there's going to probably be availability for you. I would say go JUCO to get the opportunity to play right away. Just let a lot of people, a lot of coaches, and a lot of universities know that you can play at the next level. I would say go JUCO too, just to get that experience of playing against bigger, stronger players than you were in high school. Because JUCO is a lot different than high school. It's a lot faster, a lot more physical. I feel like the refs let you get away with a lot more physical play. Bumping players, roughing players up, stuff like that. So I think JUCO is a really good route, and I think a lot of players should use that route for sure.
You bring up a lot of really good points. I mean, I think that the JUCO route is actually a very advisable thing to do for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned. Getting that extra repetition, having that opportunity to kind of make yourself very established in a certain program and really kind of start to separate yourself from the competition. Now, you eventually moved over to where you are now, Oakland University, and I want to hear what made you choose Oakland. I mean, what kind of drew you into this program?
Just like I was saying with Coach Burris, um, there's a lot of communication with me and Coach Burris, and we had that connection. The same thing with Coach Campy. He couldn't come watch me play, but I think we just had a connection, and he had a lot of great past point guards, Kay Felder, Reggie Hamilton, Kendrick Nunn. There's a lot of great past players went on to the next level and have a career at the next level, and he let those players play their game. He gave them the green light to play their game. They go out there. You can make mistakes. I don't want you looking over your shoulder once you make the mistake. Just move on from that mistake and just keep playing your game. And seeing the success that they have at the next level just inspired me to come here because I know that I can have success at the next level too when I get the opportunity.
Now, how much do you feel those years at Olney Central kind of help prepare you for the NCAA level and just help you prepare for your next stop in your basketball career? I mean, how much did that time at Olney Central really allow you to kind of grow as a player?
It made me a lot tougher, I would say, coming from high school. The competition I was playing against wasn't really high competition. I was playing against 2A players, and our class was a 4A. Indiana basketball was as high as 4A, I believe. And you know, playing at JUCO, it made me a lot tougher because there's a lot more grit in people, just bumping people around. Just it's JUCO is just like it can make or break you. So I think a lot of players in there is like it ain't gonna break me, and I was one of the players like it ain't gonna break me. You know what I mean? So I think it helped me prepare for Division 1 for sure, just based off the physical part, the mental side as well. But yeah, I would say that's helped me big time with Division 1.
It's funny that you mentioned the make or break kind of aspect of it because I've had other guests come on who have also gone the JUCO route. And they've said pretty much the same thing. It's really who wants it more, and it's really kind of you either are going to go all in or it's going to chew you up and spit you back out, and you really have to kind of come ready to go and ready to roll. Now, last year you had an incredible season. You led all of Division 1 basketball in assists per game and total assists. What in your game and just your court vision specifically do you feel really helped you have that type of success last year?
I would say watching a lot of film. Honestly, I watch a lot of film. Just growing up in high school, JUCO, and now I watch a lot of film, and I kind of watch like where my players like the ball, like where they like the ball at, where they shoot the ball comfortable at. What positions I could put them in to make them successful. Just stuff like that, little stuff like that. A lot of people don't look at. Like maybe he just goes out there and it just comes natural, but some of it does come natural, but a lot of it comes from unseen film work, unseen film work of me studying my players, my teammates, and where they want the ball at, stuff like that. So I think that had a lot to contribute to that.
Now, when you knew you were going to go to Oakland University, did you start watching film on the team just to kind of get a little bit of a familiarity with how the players play and who likes a pass a certain way and who wants it in their shooter pocket, who wants it high, who wants it low? Were you kind of preparing yourself for that already?
Yeah, I was definitely looking watching a lot of their game film just to see how the pass point guard did. How Coach Campy likes the point guard to run the team, basically stuff like that. How the plays are ran, the transition offense, stuff like that. So I was definitely watching film on Oakland when I committed here, and I just want to get the feel for how their offenses ran and how the players and stuff how they like playing with each other, stuff like that.
Now, any crazy memorable passes from last year? I mean, I'm sure you had to have a couple at some point, right?
Um, Honestly, I don't even know. Like, I feel like I had a lot of good passes to where like I can't pick one. Um, I don't know, honestly. I don't think none of them really stood out like, oh my God, that was a great pass. Maybe to some people, But like to me, I feel like it was just like a regular pass, like a natural pass. So no, I really don't have a memorable pass really from last year.
I kind of now want to ask this. You kind of led me into this next question. When you have this many assists in a game, you might have 10 or 11 or whatever it might be. Are you aware of that? Or, I mean, is that crossing your mind? Or are you kind of just, all right, I'm getting it to the guy that's open and he's hitting shots and that's about it? Or are you kind of noting like, wow, like, I'm really helping out the flow of this offense?
No, I kind of just go with the flow, and whoever's hot, whoever has the hot hand, just keep feeding them. I've always been that type of player. If you hit 2 shots in a row, I'm going right back at you. If you hit 3 shots in a row, you miss your fourth, I'm going right back at you on the fifth one. I have confidence in you that you're gonna make the next one. So I don't look at it like I got 8 assists, 9 assists, or I'm really getting it to this guy, or I need to help get it to this guy. I'm going with whoever's hot. Whoever's hot and whoever's making the plays is helping us win the game. Then I'm going to go to them because I'm at the end of the day, I want to win the game. You know what I mean? So I'm just doing whatever it takes to win the game.
Now, not only has your passing really excelled in your overall game, but also just you getting to the free throw line and your efficient free throw shooting. What is your offensive mentality? I mean, when you get in the lane, how do you know when to pass, when to shoot? And especially with you being a point guard, I'm sure that's got to be a little bit of a 50-50 shot of what you want to do each and every single offensive possession. What are you looking at and what kind of read are you trying to find where you're like, okay, this is my opportunity to score and this is my opportunity to pass? I mean, do you have just kind of a natural feel as to when that should happen?
Yeah, just a natural feel, just taking what the defense gives me. Like I said, I watch a lot of film on stuff like little stuff like that, how to draw fouls. Like I watch a lot of Trey Young on how he draws a lot of fouls. He drew a lot of fouls in college, and he draws a lot of fouls in the NBA. So me being a smaller person, to get more points, you got to be able to draw fouls and go to the free throw line and knock them down. And I think that's one thing that Trey Young does really, really well. And I'm trying to pick up on that. And I think I picked up on that quite a bit last year on how to draw fouls and when's the perfect time to draw a foul and stuff like that. Another person who does it well is Chris Paul. He knows how to throw his body around into you to make it look like you're fouling him. So, I try to watch a lot of film on that, but kind of just take what the defense gives me and just go with the flow.
Yeah, drawing fouls and being able to get to the line like that efficiently. I mean, you look at a guy like you said, Trey Young or even James Harden, that they're going to the free throw line 17, 18, 19, even 20 times a game. It's almost a skill and an art in itself being able to do that, take that contact, because it does require a lot of strength to do that. And also just a lot of will going up amongst the trees in the defense. You're going up with someone that's at sometimes probably a foot taller than you, and you have to find a way to get a bucket and score. So I think that's an incredible aspect to your game. Now, heading into this season, what are the expectations that you have set for yourself, and what have you really been trying to focus on this offseason?
Expectations for me is just to go out there every day, and compete every single day, never back down from anybody. I've always had that mindset, and that's always the expectation of my own. The goals and stuff like that remain the same. My bad. The goals like that and stuff remain the same. My goal is just win the championship here at Oakland and get to the NCAA tournament. And not only get to the NCAA tournament, but go in the NCAA tournament with a chip on our shoulder as a team, and win some games in there and put on for Oakland. But on the off season and stuff, I've been working on floaters. Because like I said, I've been watching a lot of Trey Young film, and he shoots that floater, and every time he shoots the floater, I always think it's going in. And I had to get it to where I'm like that too. I'm shooting the floater every time I think it's going in. So, I've been working on the floater, working on taking care of the ball more, and just communicating more with my teammates and being more of a leader on the court and off the court as well.
Now, you mentioned the floater aspect, and as a former basketball player myself years ago, I am curious to hear kind of your mindset when it comes to the art of the floater, because there is a little bit of an art to it. Are you somebody that's more so looking for higher arc, or are you more so looking for a quicker release, a sooner release before the defender meets you?
It just depends on how the defender's guarding me, honestly. If the big is coming in trying to block my shot, then it's got to be a higher arc. But if I'm trying to get it off quicker, it's from the big from coming to me, I'm just trying to get it off quicker. So I got to take what the defense gives me, and I read that as the big comes up to me or how he's helping or stuff like that. You got to have different arts, different techniques of getting it off, stuff like that. So I basically just read the big man or the defender in front of me.
Well, you're definitely following a very good player to pick up on that floater. I mean, Trey Young is a master of it. I'm a huge Bucks fan, so watching him in the playoffs, he gave me a couple heart attacks, but we eventually were able to get out of it. So that was a good thing to say the least. But Jalen, you've been great to have on the show today, my friend. I really appreciate the time. Before I let you go, I got one little question to ask you, and it kind of involves a sports epiphany, an aha moment, whatever you want to call it, as to when you realize that you could play at the Division One level and excel at the Division One level. So when did it kind of click in your mind? And you kind of had that aha moment that you could really do this?
I would say probably my junior year of high school or senior year of high school. My senior year, I averaged 38 points a game, and I just like I can really score the ball. It don't matter who's guarding me, or I never back down for anybody. I'm fearless out there. A lot of people kept telling me I'm too short, too small to play Division One, but that just added fuel to the fire and stuff like that. So my senior year, I had a lot of confidence because I put in a lot of work on the off season, and I just been working and working all the time. So I would say my senior year. After my senior year, I was watching a lot of film on myself, and I'm like, I really can play at the Division One level, and I think I can succeed at the Division One level. And going JUCO, me putting up some good numbers and stuff like that, I'm like, I really, really can do it. You know what I mean? I don't think nobody's better than me. I don't think there's a better point guard in the country than me. So I'm gonna stick to that, and that's just me. I always believe in myself, I always will, and I always believe that I'm the best. But I always know that I have a lot of work to do. Um, I got a long way to go to get to where I want to be with this basketball stuff. So I'm willing to put in all the hard work it takes, and I'm ready for whatever challenge is brought to me.
Well, my friend, I am very excited to watch you play this year. Excited to watch some Oakland basketball. So good luck this year. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'd love to get you back on the show once the season kind of ramps up and hear a little season update, if you will. But until then, my friend, be well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.